We ain't found Sith.
Warning, the following podcast contains speculation, which may be confused with spoilers, although it may also contain spoilers. You have been warned.
Hi.
Hello.
It's been a while.
I know.
Yeah. Let me see. Hang on. Let me get into character. Hello and welcome to We Ain't Found Sith, issue 94. My name is Evan. I am, as always, your host. My regular co-host, Pedro, I've no idea where he's at. I hope he's okay. I hope he's safe. But I am joined once again by semi-regular co-host. Welcome, the Rag Widow. Welcome back to the show, Raul.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah,
So much to talk about.
it's been about a month since Pedro and I did the last episode, and it was about a month before that that we did the previous one that I believe you were on, back when we were discussing Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
that's
true.
In that time, we've had another Disney show drop on us. We've had the return of the Marvel Cinematic Universe to the big screen. We've had a slew of announcements of things that are coming. Things are starting to get back to normal. Theaters are opening up, and I mean, let's just jump right into it. Trailers, things that are coming that we seem to be excited for. I know you're big and excited for the Marvel What If series.
Yes. I mean, since I saw the trailer back in January, the first trailer, I don't know if it's the music or what, but I always like timey-wimey stuff, alternate universe stuff, and I mean, and we're going to talk about that obviously with Loki, but and now with Loki being done, we probably have a better idea of why What If is happening. But
I had not thought about that. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, because now
they could plant seeds in What If that they can bring into fruition after what happened at the end of Loki. The What If series, I remember always one of my favorite series as a kid. They were always single issue stories that were always just like, what if this had happened instead? What if, and I'm trying to remember like classic ones because the only thing coming to mind are like modern ones. But it was like, what if like the Phoenix Force had never taken control of Jean Grey and things like that? Obviously, the show will be concentrating on what if of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So don't expect any classic storylines from the comic books to make an appearance. It's all going to be MCU stuff. But even more than What If, my favorite comics as a kid growing up were What The. And this was the comic book series that was responsible for Peter Porker, the spectacular
Peter Porker.
Yeah.
Yes.
These were the comics that were like, basically it was the Amazing Spider-Ham series came out of What The comics. Which was exactly what it sounded like. What the?
So do you think that... Okay, so we know a little bit about No Way Home. We know it's going to be multiverse-y type stuff. Do you think we'll see Peter Porker in this movie?
I don't think they're willing to pull the trigger that far on a live-action film. I would love it. I would laugh my ass off for like 2 seconds. And then I would be like, okay, well, you had your joke. Spider-Ham was always, that's the character, was always a joke. It works in the animated movie because it's animated. In a live action, I don't know.
Okay, so which outlandish character from the Miles Morales movie do you think would actually fit? And I want to say like a Nick Cage Spider-Man, the noir
Spider-Man
one.
Noir?
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man Noir might work. You obviously can't do the lighting tricks that you do with the cartoon version of him.
Yeah.
Although it would be funny if like the character's black and white.
That's what that's why I'm thinking it'd be cool.
The only thing with that is that once you start doing things like that, and you start kind of blending the lines between like cartoon and reality, like it's that uncanny valley, right? Like if you've got a character that's a black and white character in a full color picture, you run that risk of like, okay, this guy looks like a cartoon character, even though it could be an actual actor playing an actual character. Like it starts messing with things that so far to this point the Marvel Cinematic Universe is not done. If you wanted to do a Howard the Duck movie that was like completely made up of like walking and talking animals on Howard the Duck World, then that could work. It's that blending of live action. Look, I had one of the movies that I was going to talk about today and that I saw over the weekend is Space Jam. And even today in 2021, even with them saying, "Hey, let's make the Looney Tunes 3D animation," the movie just looks fake. Like once you have LeBron James standing next to Bugs Bunny, I'm sorry, no matter how much like fixing of things you do and how much you kind of blend things, and it doesn't look like they exist in the same world.
See, but those are meant to be like cartoon.
You want like a realistic looking Peter Parker?
Well, because you mentioned
Howard
Howard
the
the
Duck.
Duck. You mentioned Howard the Duck, and Howard the Duck came out in one of the MCU movies already.
Yeah,
and he's actually in the What If trailer.
Right, and he works as a background character in that CG world. But if you have him like as a full-on main character and he's fully interacting with our live action, like,
but it happens.
I mean, you'd have to do that. I mean, Rocket Raccoon works somewhat, but if you leave him on screen for too long, it starts to kind of like, oh, okay, that no longer, because remember, the longer it's on screen, the more it costs.
So we see it all the time in Marvel. I mean, Iron Man, all CG, unless they take the helmet off. The Hulk, half the scenes with Thor, Groot, Korg, Korg, fan favorite Korg. I think they're getting better, but you do have a point where when it's at least they're meant to be kind of real, and like the Hulk has Dr. Banner, he's a little more grounded, but Howard the Duck,
and I don't know what's going on over at Disney. I don't know if Kevin Feige is like on purpose keeping Kathleen Kennedy like away from Marvel Studios, and it's like no, don't let any of the Lucasfilm people into our area, because Marvel does the CG animation of real people 90 times better than Star Wars does. Because like every time they've done it in a Marvel movie where they've done like the de-aging or whatever in a Marvel movie, it looks great. But then you go and you watch like Rogue One or anything like that, and like the de-aged Grand Moff Tarkin does not look great. The end of the movie, the de-aged Princess Leia, it does not look super great. It's like whoa. So I don't know what Marvel is doing that Star Wars is not, considering they're both owned by Disney. But Marvel's at least doing it way better. Louis brings up a great point. He talks about how it worked great in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is very much a product of the technology of its time, in that everything was shot on film. And film inherently has like a bit of graininess to it, has almost like an effect on the eyes that digital doesn't. Digital is like so clean and so clear and ultra high definition that like it just makes things stand out even more. I mean, all you need to do is like really go look at any movie that's like from the 80s or 90s that they've then gone back and like, we've cleaned up and restored and we made it high def. And you can go, okay, yeah, maybe this movie wasn't meant to be seen in high def. Um, you know, it was a product of a different era, and I understand we're gonna complain about the old footage because it looks a little bit weird on these new fancy TVs. But yeah, maybe just leave them standard definition from back when they were. And I mean, I watch black and white movies in the original format and aspect ratio they were shot in. I don't need you to clean that up for me. We can appreciate 80s and 90s movies for what they were.
So, what would be a good movie where, and I'm thinking of one right now, where they would be, it would benefit them to clean it up. I'm thinking Back to the Future, just because of all the CG stuff.
Yes and no. First of all, Back to the Future looks great for when it was shot. If you start cleaning it up and like reducing the noise on the screen and stuff like that, a lot of the stuff that's like in the background that like it could maybe like stand out and kind of distract instead of just kind of blending in like how it was.
You know, and with Back to the Future, I don't think there was much. It was mostly like a physical.
Well,
The
I
car and
immediately
all that.
think Back to the Future 2 and the giant CGI shark for the
That's
Jaws
right.
Jaws 80 or whatever Jaws number that was in the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
But that's really the only shot in Back to the Future that I can think of. Maybe some of the flying shots, but those were done with models.
Right. So maybe yeah, it wouldn't even matter
know.
with Back to the Future.
One of the things I love when you compare, like for example, the original Star Wars trilogy to the prequel trilogy, we won't even get into the sequel trilogy. If you go back and you look at those shots of those space battles, and you look at the shots of like TIE fighters blowing up and the Star Destroyers and all that stuff was done with miniatures. And then in the prequel trilogy, they started with miniatures, and the stuff that's done with miniatures looks awesome. And then they just started adding things like digitally, and once George found the new toy of like CGI, there's no need to do miniatures anymore. We could just do this digitally in the computer, you know. And it just became like a thing of like it doesn't look as good 20 years later as the originals look 40 years later. You know, you go to Jurassic Park, the first one, where they had giant robotic Tyrannosaurus and they had robot puppet velociraptors, and they look fucking great. The only shot that I can think of in the original Jurassic Park that maybe kind of stands out as looking dated are like the herd shots, where you're seeing like the entire herds of dinosaurs. But then you look at like Jurassic World, and it's only been like 5-6 years, and there are some shots in that movie that you look at it now and you're like, ooh, they how did they let this get through like standards? Like this doesn't look like it was rendered correctly, you know. So there is something to be said for. It's one of the reasons why I love Guillermo del Toro, because Guillermo del Toro is like yeah, there's CGI in the movie, and there's always going to be a place for CGI. But when you have something that's like tangible and light reflects off of it naturally, it's just so much more visually appealing. Which is why he loves doing like full on costume characters and things like that, because he understands like, yeah, I'm not gonna get like in Hellboy 2, the big giant blue orc guy. It's a guy in a puppet suit, and it looks amazing. And there are some shots where like yeah, you obviously you can't do that in like for real, so you have to have some sort of like CGI effect. But for the most part, it's it's an actual dude in a suit, and it looks amazing.
So how do you feel about Thanos? The way they did Thanos?
Again, I will clarify by saying that I think Marvel does the CGI better than any other studio right now. But even Thanos, after a while, starts to kind of like, okay, I can kind of see almost like an outline kind of happening thing, like almost like taking me out of it. but it still looks way better than like if you would have taken Josh Brolin and painted him purple. You know, the Hulk. I don't think the Hulk works as a live action character.
You tell that to Lou Ferrigno, my friend.
Well, but that was a product of its time,
Right?
and also Lou Ferrigno was massive compared to people of his time. Now, walk into like a freaking gym in South Beach,
And you see Mike Roncelli.
Yeah, but Mike's got too small. His hands are too small to be the Hulk. But like I watch go to YouTube and look up like strongmen, and some of these guys are freaking massive. Like they stand next to football players, and football players look tiny.
What's the name of the Game of Thrones? The mountain.
Bjorn Yorkson or whatever the guy's name is. The mountain.
Yeah, he's enormous.
Yeah, he's a strongman. He's like bodybuilders are all about like, oh, I want to get my muscles to show as much as possible. Strongmen are like, I must be as massive as possible so that I can pull a truck.
Yeah.
Like, strongmen are like 6'8", 6'9", 500 pounds, but they're like built like a brick shit house. It's technically one of those guys could play the Hulk. It would look weird, a guy painted all in green. Although I might watch that. Like if you painted the mountain green and just had him like beating up people, I would watch that.
Look for it in Multiverse of Madness. It's coming.
It wouldn't be funny if Multiverse of Madness was like the Lou Ferrigno Hulk shows up.
That's right.
But I digress. What if, which is the original topic we were talking about. Definitely looking forward to it. Kind of glad they went the animation route. Let them kind of bring back people without having to actually bring them back. So that like I know they went and they got a lot of the original actors to voice their parts and all that, which is cool. Because normally when you get cartoons based off of movies, they're like the actors that voice the characters are like, I'm a little bit too busy to do the cartoon, but get a voice stand-in for me and they'll do it.
Yeah, and I don't know. I want to say all the actors came back. I don't know what they did with T'Challa though. I don't know if they filmed this before he passed.
I think Chadwick Boseman was able to record his dialogue before he passed.
Wow.
It's one of those things that's the thing about animation is that we're getting the show now, but the voice actors did their roles like 3 years ago. It's one of the things. Speaking of animation, I'm looking forward Friday to Masters of the Universe.
Oh, I haven't even. I forgot about that.
I'm looking forward to that. That is, I'm gonna probably watch that at some point during the day. Depends how busy I am at work.
Those underwears, those
the fur underwear.
The fur underwear.
Yeah. The original superhero from my childhood, man. 1983. I was like 2 years old when He-Man came out. A lot of people on the internet have been shitting on this. Saying, "Oh, He-Man's gone woke," and without having actually like seen the show.
Yeah. How do they even know? Like,
I don't know. First of all, the showrunner on it is Kevin Smith.
Oh.
As a lifelong Kevin Smith fan, and I say that openly and proudly, I'm a lifelong Kevin Smith fan. Some of his more recent work I don't like as much as his old work. But I like the guy personally. He's affable. He's friendly. He's not he's self-deprecating. Like, I like the guy. He's brought in some people that I'm familiar with working on the show, and I don't mean voice acting. I mean like in the writing room. One of the writers that's working with him is Mark Bernardin, who he does a weekly podcast with of Fat Man Beyond. And I like Mark's views. Mark is a guy who's not afraid to shit on things when he doesn't like it, and I like people who are like that. But I sometimes think with these properties from the 80s, people our age, and I include you in this because you're not that far apart from me, tend to remember...
I'm a little younger.
You're a little bit younger. You're a few years younger, but you're past 35.
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely.
But if we're talking about the 35 to 51 demographic, because that's what it is. It's the 35 to 51.
Okay.
We're in that demo.
Okay.
I'll
collect my AARP membership here.
Well, no, that's still a while off, bro.
Right.
There's 35 to 51. Then I believe there's like 52 to like 70 or something like that is the next demo bracket up or whatever. And then it's like 70 to death or something. But like we think back on these 80s shows that we saw as children, and I think it's literally one of these things of like our brains recollecting certain things, but not actually remembering things for what they were. I first experienced this with Voltron, and I loved Voltron as a kid. Voltron was that first show that I was like, oh, I got to get home from school. Voltron's on. I got to watch Voltron. And I fucking loved it. And to this day, like I can quote it. I remember all the characters and all that. And the box sets started coming out. Season 1 comes out. I buy season 1, pop in the DVD. All right. Okay. Wow, these first few episodes move a lot slower than I remember them moving. Uh-huh. Okay, well. All right, first story arc is done. They form Voltron for the first time. Let's get to the next. All right. Wow, I really don't care about this at all. Okay, it's time to form Voltron. Oh, wow, this is the exact same animation sequence from like the original time they formed Voltron. And then it started like doing that. Like I find myself that like I didn't really care. There was no story being moved forward like throughout the episodes. They were all like episodic, it's a neat little tale that we can wrap up on one episode. And then like all of a sudden it's like, let's use the same animation footage that we originally did, and they'll just reuse that over and over again, never having done another animation sequence because it was cheap. They were done on the cheap. They were there to like introduce this thing and sell toys.
Well, they did it with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
They did it with Power Rangers, which was live action. They did it with
I was just saying, Voltron was like my first. The first thing that I revisited as an adult.
Pokemon, they did. Yeah. How many times did you see Ash Ketchum, grab his hat, turn it around, and
like once an episode, maybe twice.
Same animation.
Same animation. Power Rangers is even more fun because Power Rangers, except for the stuff with like the American actors, anything where they're like in a Power Ranger suit is reused footage from the Japanese show. So they didn't even film that stuff. They were just like, what do we film? What storyline can we do to make it fit this Japanese footage that we already have? So it's like one of those things. But the Voltron, so Voltron's my first experience. That then leads to me going like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to revisit the cartoons of my childhood and start rewatching them. When all this He-Man hate started popping up on the internet of like, how could He-Man not be the focus of the show? And all that, I went back and I checked out a few episodes. They're available on YouTube. I guess Filmation has never found a way to like release them. So they're on YouTube. Nobody's doing anything to remove them. And every fucking episode of He-Man that I saw, we introduce a character. We get that character's storyline. That character interacts with like Prince Adam and with like Teela and the rest of the gang. And then in the last 5 minutes of the show, Adam transforms into He-Man using the same animation sequence from every episode. And He-Man saves the day. So He-Man in the Masters of the Universe has He-Man in it for maybe like the opening shot of the episode and then like the last few minutes of the episode. Other than that, it's the Prince Adam show all the way.
But I think that's just a product of that time because now you have more, instead of episodic things, you have more serialized things, right?
Right. We've now moved into that territory in the last 20 years where we want those serialized, like week to week, episode to episode storytelling that tells a much larger story. There's room within that to give us an episode story in itself, a B plot, if you will. But overall, over the span of the season, we want that full season one to last episode story arc. But it's one of those things that it didn't exist when we were kids.
No,
Those
and you see it.
cartoons-
You know, I love Star Trek. But you see it with the Next Generation compared to Deep Space Nine. A lot of people went back and watched Deep Space Nine, and they're like, "Well, wait a minute, this is actually really fucking good." But growing up, TNG was the shit back then. But now, I hate to say it, but I think as an overall story, I think Deep Space Nine was actually better because they were one of the first, I would say, to do the serialized type of thing where it was this theme that just grew and grew and grew. You had, TNG and a lot of other shows back then, you had character development, but this was different. This was like that long con type of thing.
Well, the way character development happened in those shows was the interactions between cast members, and then from time to time you would reintroduce a villain that you had previously introduced. Like that's how they became like arch enemies. Like that's how Q became a thing. It was like Q was like one episode, and then they keep bringing them back like every season, and it's like, oh, okay, so Q is one of Picard's like arch nemesis, and it's like.
But then it became more than that. You see, like even with Q. I'll tell you a quick story. I went to, I think it was MegaCon 2013 when the TNG cast basically reunited. Q was there, John Delancey, and they were asking him like, "Hey, how did you feel coming into the show when you have an established cast and you were like a guest star?" And he's like, "Honestly, like I never really felt like part of the cast because I was like one a season type of thing." So
Which is the way things were done back then.
Exactly.
Like if you were doing the Next Generation now, you would introduce Q at the beginning of the season, but then it would ripple all the way throughout, and he would be like the big bad at the end of the season.
And he wasn't really. I feel like he wasn't even really a bad guy, and we're gonna see him now in season 2 of Picard. So we'll see if what we're talking about now comes to fruition. If we see a more serialized type of thing for the season, with Q.
I mean, Picard season 1 was pretty. Like they pretty much had an overarching story throughout the whole thing.
Exactly.
But yeah, but I'm looking forward to He-Man is what I'm trying to say. And I'm gonna give it a shot. I want to watch it before I shit on it.
That's good. Do you know if they cast Rick Scott as Skeletor? I haven't checked. Okay.
No. No. If we were doing live action, that would have been.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Rick Scott, former governor of Florida.
Well, now he's a senator, so
Yeah. You know what, man? An unpopular opinion. I know that we love to bag on our governor. I know that we love to shit talk. I'm sorry, man. 1 year later, I kind of think Florida handled things better than New York and California did.
You're talking DeSantis now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Since we did mention the former governor. Again, I'm not a fan of the guy. I will not be voting for him for re-election. But after everything's said and done, we could have been a lot worse. And not in the number of cases. In the number of cases, I don't think we probably had like that big a shift. We were pretty much on par. But financially, like all of our businesses in this state, I think a lot of them are doing a lot better than a lot of businesses are doing in those California and New York.
I think it may also be a product of where we are, because New York, for example, they don't have the option of being outside half of the year.
Half the year.
Yeah, so I think
They were doing it anyway. I heard one of my favorite comedians. What's his name? The guy who does the Turn It Sideways videos. Andrew Schultz. When he was talking about like he was gonna go eat at a restaurant and it was like freezing cold and then he was like, "Do I really want to sit outside to eat?" And that's when he decided to come to Florida for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
But all in all, like, it's not an endorsement, but I think if we'd have gone like full on lockdown for longer than we did, a lot of businesses would be suffering, and a lot of businesses are suffering. But they just think how much worse it could have been. Anyways, that was the political talk for the show. So we talked about What If coming up. We talked about I'm excited for Masters of the Universe. Anything else that is coming up soon that you're interested in?
I want to be interested in that Ryan Reynolds movie. I really do.
Free Guy?
Yeah, I really want to like it, but the trailer, I don't know, man.
It looks a little weird. I'll be honest, like, I've kind of gotten used to the whole watch movies at home thing now. And while I did go see Black Widow in theaters because I was not going to spend $30 on Disney Plus to watch it by myself. That's the one thing about Disney Plus, man. Like, if you're a family, like our good buddy Joey, that's his wife, his son, and then I don't know if the baby pays for a movie ticket. Like, do they have to pay for a movie ticket if they're like a year old?
Probably like under 2. They don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But his son would be of the age where they would have to buy a movie ticket for him.
Dean, maybe, I don't know.
I think it makes perfect sense. $30 to watch it at home, because you'd probably spend about $30 to go to the theater. Maybe a little bit more depending on the showing.
Plus the munchies, you get the gummy bears and all that shit.
Yeah. Whereas $30 to watch it at home, but for me, I think I paid like $8.50 to see Black Widow in theaters because movie theaters are like, please come back, we've reduced our prices.
Shit, dude, I spent $19. I bought my ticket on Fandango, RPX.
Where did you go? Like Cinebistro? Like,
no, it was in Winter Park. It's like St. Coral Gables, just in Orlando. It's called Winter Park. But the theater, it was like those special type of rooms where it's like the special speakers.
Oh, like the 4D.
Yeah. But it was, yeah. So they call it RPX.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, plus the fee that Fandango
rest in
takes.
Rest in peace, Regal Cinema on Kendall Drive.
No. Really? Wow. So
yeah.
What theater is around in Kendall now?
In Kendall?
Dadeland, right?
Probably. Yeah, probably. But I drove by there the other day, and I was like, oh, let me, and it was like, when I went to look on movie times on Fandango, why won't it pop up? What's going on? Where is it? It's nowhere to be found.
Wow.
And apparently it closed.
Wow, that's crazy.
Which, that was the theater we used to always go to, because it was kind of like in the middle for all of us, because I was coming from I was coming from up north, technically, but everybody else was like in the Kendall area and stuff like that.
Well, you and I live right by Dolphin, but
right.
We're also so close to the turnpike there, it really wasn't a big deal to just
right. I'd hop on the turnpike, get off on Kendall Drive, and it's the first right when you get off the turnpike.
Yeah.
Which for all of our friends who live in the Kendall area was very convenient because, but yeah, man, not there anymore. But anyways, so yeah, I saw it at one of my local AMC's, and I won't mention the name of it because when people find out it was $8.50 to see the movie, they might all be like, "Oh, it's that cheap. Let me go there."
I have a feeling I know where you went.
Yeah. Well, you know the area, and I said AMC. So anyone that lives where Raul and I are in Miami would know what AMC I'm talking about. But for our friends who are not in this area, they might not know. So, and anybody watching this on YouTube at a later date might not know either. But yeah, I was like $8.50, which from me by myself. First of all, I saw it in regular 2D. I didn't need to see it in 3D. It wasn't. I don't pay to see 3D movies anymore because it's just one of those things where it's like I don't feel it adds anything.
You wouldn't want to see that booty in 3D, bro? Because let me tell you, there were gratuitous booty shots. Although I'm like, what are you doing?
But why would I want to see that in 3D in a theater? I would want to see that in 3D at home, where I could do something about it. But in a theater, I ain't Pee Wee Herman.
Oh boy!
You know.
Well,
I'm not that guy. I'm not. Maybe I may be a dirty old man, but I'm not a perverted dirty old man.
You've taken my joke and gone on that penis rocket with Jeff Bezos and gone up to...
Hey. Anyways, you know what? Let's just. I was gonna mention a quick thing, but let's get ready to hop right into the Viuda Negra. Before I get into that, I wanted to give a quick shout out. Congrats to all the streaming services this year. You have killed it in the Emmy nominations. I pulled up the numbers just so that we could. In 2021, all streaming services combined, a total of 342 Emmy nominations. All cable television, 166 nominations.
Wow. You can't even attribute that to the pandemic because that's not like movies only. That's shows. That's
well, this is the Emmys. This is not movies at all.
Exactly.
And then just to put that into perspective, broadcast television, the big channels, 105 Emmy nominations.
Wow.
So congratulations, streaming services. You're killing it. Netflix has 129 of those nominations.
Do you remember when they first got nominated? I want to say it was.
House of Cards.
And it was like a big deal. Like, oh my god!
A streaming service was nominated for an Emmy.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh my god, a network show was nominated for an Emmy. How did that happen?
And that wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
But yeah, so Netflix has 129 of those 342 streaming. Disney Plus has 71.
Have they even finished their first year?
Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. They have.
Disney Plus came out in 2019.
Yeah, I think Paramount Plus may have one just for one of the Star Treks, but that's more for like the visual
stuff. Well, so check this out. Numbers from last year to this year, Netflix dropped from 160 nominations to 129. Disney Plus went from 19 Emmy nominations to 71.
It's probably mostly WandaVision.
I think Mandalorian season 2.
That's right.
WandaVision. Falcon and the Winter Soldier had one of the funniest nominations ever. Nominee for Best Guest Actor,
Don Cheadle.
And
I think
I gave him the Emmy based on his Twitter response.
What did he say? Because I saw like a headline about it, and it said something like, "Oh, Don Cheadle confused about nomination."
Well, he was like, "Wow, yeah, I know, whatever." It was like one of those things where, like, because it's like, yeah, he was like literally in like 20 seconds of the show in the first episode. You would think that like a guest actor, they would have given that to like maybe the actor that played
The old or
Yeah.
the old super soldier, right?
Yeah, like that would have been a good. I'm blanking on his name right now. Oh look, someone's alive. Welcome back to the land of the living, bro.
Get on here, Pedro.
Okay, so I said Netflix dropped from 160 to
Carl
129.
Lumbly, that's his
Disney
name.
jumped. HBO Max in its first year, 36 nominations for HBO Max.
Oh, they had some good stuff.
Yeah. Not to be confused with HBO, which is considered a separate category on this table.
So
HBO has 94 nominations.
Carl Lumbly is his name.
Okay, Carl Lumley, yeah.
But you know what would be messed up is if they meant to give it to Anthony Mackie, but they were racist and they're like, oh, no, it was the other black guy. No.
Well, I don't think you would give Anthony Mackie a guest actor.
Oh, you're right.
You know, that just... I think they just saw the name Don Cheadle and were like, oh, it's Don Cheadle. I know him.
Hotel Rwanda, right?
You know how like we always accuse like our grandparents and like our parents of just voting for the same people over and over again because they know their name. Like it's probably one of those things like, oh, Don Cheadle, I know who that is. I'll nominate him.
Like, oh, when was the last time he won? Oh, no, you know what? It's been a while or whatever. Let's give it to him.
Yeah. But yeah, so 36 for HBO Max, 34 for Apple Plus.
Dude, I haven't seen anything there. Ted Lasso was the only thing.
Ted Lasso was amazing.
Yeah,
I had to like find a way to see Ted Lasso because since I don't own an Apple product, I don't have Apple Plus. Hulu had 25.
Oh, they had the handmade thing, right?
Yeah,
that was big.
Amazon had 18. The brand new Paramount Plus network had 6. And Peacock had 2. I don't know what is on Peacock that is like original programming.
Oh, there is a Tina Fey show, Girls 5 Ever or something like that.
Okay,
I haven't seen it.
Don't know it. Paramount Plus, like you were saying, probably some of those like technical awards for the Star Trek stuff.
Yeah.
I think the big thing that I'm seeing here that's like standing out to me is like. We had some stuff that we loved on Amazon this year, and Amazon dropped from 31 nominations last year to 18 nominations this year. That's almost half.
They had some good stuff, too. They had I don't know if you ever saw it, a show called Undone, which is phenomenal. They had Invincible was very popular.
And like, again, I'm just looking at, like, nominations by network, just because I just wanted to see what... Although I don't have like, you know, the actual like channels, so I don't know what ABC has, what NBC has. It's not on this table. They're just broadcast television. But the interesting thing that I find is like that dropped from 31 to 18 for Amazon. It looks like Amazon's been directly affected by the new streaming services. You know, I mean, you get a jump in HBO Max of 36 for its first year. Like, some of that stuff that's on HBO Max might have been stuff that might have been on Amazon if HBO Max had not become a thing. Hello, we're getting this is Miami-Dade County on the line.
Yeah. What up, bitches?
There's my boy.
I took a little swag nap, boys. You know how that goes.
Oh, there you go. And you're joining us just in time. We were just kind of going over like how the streaming, like the Emmys have now become like the streaming awards.
Yeah, but bro, TV's dead, bro. You know that. TV's dead. It don't matter. It's all gonna be these streaming shits anyway. Streaming is like the new cable, bro. You pay for your fucking bundle of shows, and that's what you get.
It's going to be interesting
It's going to cost the same as cable.
It is.
Advertisers are big on broadcast. And, like, there's nothing on Netflix, you know? Like, how are they going to...
Well, that's not true. I just saw Castlevania. That shit was bopping.
Well, it's one of the reasons why...
I'm saying the advertisers.
Yeah, but it's one of the reasons why I think Peacock is trying... I don't know if you noticed, but Peacock has, like, different tier levels. and like and Hulu's been doing this for a while too, where like even though you pay for the service, you still get ads. Which is one of the reasons why I've never gotten Hulu.
They're
I
owned
don't
by
care about
Comcast,
that, dude.
right?
Dave is on Hulu. Dave is a great show, bro.
Yeah,
Dave?
yeah, but I refuse
Little
to.
Dicky.
If I'm paying you for the service, you don't get to give me ads.
Yeah, they do.
Ads are for free services because the ads pay for the service.
No, they can do whatever
I'm
they
paying
want.
for the service, you don't give me ads.
No,
How it is.
No, it's not. It's not. They're just moving the way cable works onto paid subscriptions. It's going to be exactly the same thing, and then eventually they're going to make like what do you call them, like webs. So it'll be like one big broadcaster, and then you'll get, I pay for this one. It gives me Disney. Disney's already doing it. Disney, you get ESPN, and you get Hulu.
You get Hulu
for a bundle. They're gonna. Everybody's gonna do that same
owns
shit.
All those services.
I know, but that's where we're going. It's just gonna be cable again. So yeah, they're gonna charge you, and they're gonna play commercials because that's how they're gonna make more money.
Dish TV was.
I think at that point, at that point where like if I start getting ads on Disney Plus, I cancel my subscription, and I call up Uncle Nefarious.
Well, you're gonna get ads eventually. Watch, I guarantee you that shit. They're just gonna. It's the same business model. They're just gonna go back to that. Right now, it's brand new, so they can't put commercials on everything. But that's where they're gonna go. That's where they're gonna go.
I don't know. I mean, Netflix has been around forever now, and they still don't have ads. So,
but that's the only one. That's the only one. Everybody else has Well, actually, if you think about it,
Amazon really doesn't.
Look, man.
Actually, yeah, Amazon and Netflix don't.
HBO also doesn't.
Look, HBO does.
I'm sorry.
Max? No.
HBO gives you like one ad for like another HBO show.
Just like Amazon.
Yeah. But still,
and you can skip it. You can like fast forward that thing.
I kind of like those because then I find shows that I didn't even know about. And it's just one, and you can skip.
Whatever.
It's at the beginning, and then it doesn't interrupt your watching. Like, it's one of the things that annoy me about like YouTube, and let me not rail too hard on YouTube before they pull us off the air. But like, I'm watching YouTube. First of all, content on YouTube doesn't have commercial breaks. So when the ad happens, it's like in the middle of something. Second of all, YouTube, stop interrupting me with an ad for YouTube Premium.
Oh my god! God!
It's everything, man. If you go on Instagram, you get an ad if you try to open up a reel, bro. It's just the way it's just the way it is.
Oh, man. Instagram has become horrible. Like Instagram, when you start going through your stories, like all your buddies' stories and all of that, and it's like, here's my buddy's story, here's an ad. Here's my buddy's story.
I actually did a little research on it. It's every 3. You'll see 3 posts and then a sponsor. No, it's 3 and then it's sponsored. 3 and a sponsor every time.
I'm pretty sure I've had here's the first one, here's a sponsor, here's another one, here's a sponsor. I'm pretty sure I've had that happen to me.
On my Instagram,
maybe it's because I actually buy shit sometimes.
I don't know. I've seen it
quite a few
every
products
3
on Instagram. The Instagram marketing does work on me. That's why when Google's like, we're gonna remove targeted ads, I'm like, no, give me the targeted ads. Don't show me ads for shit I don't want. Show me ads for things I do want.
All day.
Like I unfortunately like I try to get fair and balanced coverage when I'm looking like news stuff on YouTube. So like a lot of times they'll hit me with like conservative commercials. And I was like, I'm not interested in this shit. I don't want this shit. Movie trailers all day. I'll sit there and watch a 3-minute movie trailer ad. Don't hit me with the same one over and over again. Like, I'm sorry, I've now seen the Snake Eyes trailer enough times that I no longer want to see the movie.
What are you talking about? It looks like another great classic fucking action film.
Yeah, I'm just tired of it already. Because remember, these were movies that were supposed to come out last year. So we've now been getting these ads and these trailers for over a year for these movies. And it's like, you should have been listening when you decided to push the movie back to 2021, maybe 2022. You should have pulled the ads off the air so that I stopped watching them. Let me forget that the Snake Eyes movies is a thing, and then remind me like a month before it comes out.
Bro, I'm so disconnected from all this shit. I didn't even know there was a Snake Eyes movie. I even forgot about Black Widow.
I mean, there's kind of a Snake Eyes movie.
Well, I mean,
He's played by, I don't know if it's an Asian or an Asian American,
I don't need
and
the details.
and
I
he
don't
talks.
care. I don't care at all.
Yeah, and he talks. So that's not Snake Eyes, because anybody that knows Snake Eyes knows that Snake Eyes doesn't talk, and Snake Eyes is actually like a white guy. Snake Eyes is the son of an American army guy that was like in Japan who died, and then he had to grow up in Japan as a white kid in Japan,
Oh shit! Someone
like
stole Danny Rand hard as
like
fuck.
getting his ass kicked and shit like that.
Damn, someone just took Iron Fist. All right.
Considering that that Marvel did the original comics for GI Joe, it's not surprising.
There you go. There you
But
go.
that
That's
was
it.
part of Snake Eyes' backstory, was that he was an outsider, and then luckily he found the Hardmaster who trained him, and but then when he became a ninja, he doesn't talk, and he never takes his mask off. You know,
Bro, I haven't seen
this Snake Eyes a
anything new since for like 2 years now. I think I haven't seen
like new trailers.
No, just anything in general. I don't fucking. I have zero. I had no interest in Black Widow, so I didn't see it. Zero interest in Loki. I haven't seen it. So
I
like,
thought you said you did see it.
no.
Didn't you give me like green check marks on those, or was that Gus?
Oh,
That was me.
There you go.
I sent you green check marks on Loki and Black Widow, but an X on Space Jam.
So
I haven't seen Space Jam either. Don't care in the slightest.
Yeah. Well, I saw Space Jam. 5-minute review. Actually, 30-second review. There were a few things that made me laugh. It's nowhere near the original. If you have an HBO Max account, watch it. Just put it on in the background while you're doing something. If you don't have an HBO Max account, don't spend your money on it. That's pretty concise. If you want more details, hit me up in the Facebook group. I'll get into more details there.
You're not gonna ruin it for anybody. I don't think anyone gives a shit. Or you just don't want to talk about it. Right.
I don't want to talk about it in that I don't really care. Like,
okay.
Also, come on, it's Space Jam. You guys can guess the outcome.
Real question is, does the fucking soundtrack bump?
No.
Is it a good? No. Okay, so it's garbage because that was
Welcome to the Space Jam.
There was
90% of the first movie was that fucking soundtrack. It was amazing.
There was nothing memorable for me on this soundtrack that I can think of. Like, I'm thinking back through the movie now, and I'm like, were there any songs that stuck? Nope. Nothing sticks out. Nothing comes to mind.
So what you're saying is confirmed. MJ is better than fucking LeBron. Got it. We're all good.
MJ wins that round. MJ was a better teammate to Bugs Bunny, too.
Oh, fuck. LeBron, you're a dick.
Anyways, let's get into Black Widow. Raul, thoughts?
Gratuitous booty scenes, like I said. Like, no point except for showing the booty. There was a couple scenes at the beginning. There was one, notably, where she had a gas can. And they were just panning around her ass. Like, I was cracking up in the theater, and the person next to me was like, I cannot believe this. I'm like, I don't know what to say. But it was fun. The guy from Stranger Things, he's always fun. It was good. Mm-hmm. I like the Helen, the blonde.
Florence Pugh, Yelena.
Yelena, I like her. I'm guessing she's gonna be coming.
Well, they set that up at the end where the Pedro, Contessa from Falcon and the Winter Soldier shows up in the end credit scene, and it looks like she's gonna be pointing Yelena in the direction of Hawkeye.
So
couldn't care less.
Originally, they were supposed to introduce that character in Black Widow, and then they were going to tie it with Falcon and Winter Soldier, but because of the pandemic and Black Widow kept getting pushed out, they introduced her in.
Which I think works better. 'Cause
Either
that way,
way,
when she shows up at the end of Black Widow, it's like, okay, I know who this is.
So wait, Black Widow Junior, the blonde one, she's gonna be the new Hawkeye. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
no.
So, well, first of all, I believe it's Black Widow 2 is what she was in the comics.
Super
Yelena
creative.
Belova has been around for like 20 something years.
Oh.
She shows up and she gives her like a file, like a dossier of Hawkeye, and is like, he's the man responsible why Natasha died. Like essentially like saying he's responsible for her death.
Yeah, she says something like, "Don't you want to get revenge on the person that's responsible for your sister's death," or something like that.
Yeah, because obviously she doesn't know that, that Natasha sacrificed her own life.
Oh yeah, she did, right? She jumped off.
It'll be interesting to see, like, did she get dusted? Like, who got dusted from these new characters that are coming out now?
Yeah, because this is right after Civil War. But before, it's weird because it takes place in the time in between. Was it the end credit scene of Civil War where they get broken out of prison?
Before it's after Civil War, but before Endgame, basically.
Yeah. It's weird because she talks about like how she's got to go to the raft to save her. But that happened before the Civil War movie even ended, no?
No. At the end of Civil War, I think we see
because Avengers Endgame, or I'm sorry, Avengers Infinity War, they're on the run and they're in hiding.
But it's been already a couple of years in Infinity War. And I think there may have been like an end credit scene or something where we see Captain America come out in the raft. So I
break him out or whatever?
Yeah, I think she picked up Captain America and then went to the raft and,
Okay.
And that, I think, is the Quinjet they were using throughout all of Infinity War.
Okay. Yeah, it's the timeline gets a little...
timey-wimey.
Yeah. Characters, I loved Red Guardian. And I'm now wondering, when he talks about, like, fighting Captain America back in, like, the early 80s, late 70s, was he fighting Isaiah Bradley?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I'm like, what? But
although he would have remembered if Captain America was black,
right? So I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't see
that
color.
That is not Captain America. Captain America was a black man.
Yeah,
he's
not racist. He doesn't see color.
Yeah. His name is Red Guardian.
Yeah,
he sees some color.
He sees some color. But that'd be an interesting backstory, like a young David Harbour fighting like a young. Well, we just looked up his name not too long ago. What was his name again?
Carl Lumbly.
Carl Lumbly, like de-age them.
Yeah,
because I think they put age makeup on Carl Lumbly. I don't think he's actually that old.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Then or maybe by the 1980s, maybe there was another Captain America. Who knows?
Well, we know from Falcon and Winter Soldier that they were testing.
Yeah, testing super soldier serum on stuff and all of that.
So, never know.
But I like David Harbour as Red Guardian. I just thought it was a fun character.
Do you think he's going to join the Avengers?
No, I don't think so. I think he's going to settle down with the girl from The Mummy.
Oh, that bitch
my brain is not remembering Rachel Weisz.
I mean, we're going to see him again. There's no way we're not. So when the big battle happens in the next phase, he'll probably come out.
Just show up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Red Guard. I enjoyed David Harbour's performance. I thought it was kind of like it was a nice fun element in the movie. I thought Florence Pugh was absolutely awesome in the movie. I love how she like openly makes fun of Natasha for the whole landing and posing thing, and then she does it, and then she's like, ugh.
Oof. Why do you do? Why you do this pose?
Yeah.
What you doing? You're a poser.
Wait, it was Taskmaster a woman or a man?
Yes,
It was a woman.
Taskmaster was the daughter of the big evil bad guy. Taskmaster,
Appropriate.
which I'm fine with them making Taskmaster a woman. I did not like the fact that like, oh, let's make her the daughter of the big evil bad guy. And I
Who's
didn't like,
actually Taskmaster, right?
yeah, and I didn't like the whole idea of like, oh, and she was brainwashed. Like he brainwashed her to do whatever he wanted. Like, no,
Wait. She's
let's
the
make her a
daughter.
bad person.
She's the daughter of the actual Taskmaster.
No, she's the daughter of like the guy that was running the Red Room.
Yeah. Fuck Disney. I'm over it. They just change everything just to change it.
And like, look, I would. You can keep Taskmaster female. That doesn't bother me. But A, I don't make her the daughter of that guy. And B, I don't make her brainwashed into like. I just make her like she's a mimic, just like Taskmaster is in real life, and this guy pays her really well. And just like Taskmaster is in the comic books, she's a mercenary who sells her skills to the highest bidder. You know, and that's it. That's the only motivation that Taskmaster needs.
But see, this
Now
is what I don't understand. Why change the sex or the race or anything of any of these characters? Why? I understand. I understand the whole. You know, we could make it more inclusive, but why change it? Just make a new character or pick a different character. Like, why do you need to change everything? You know what I mean? It's so. I don't know. I've only read a couple of stories. Mostly video games is my connection with Taskmaster, and the way he talks, he sounds like a fucking like an arrogant pig. You know what I mean?
The comic book character of Taskmaster is a guy who's like from Brooklyn, who he has like his superpower is that he can mimic anybody's fighting style.
Yeah, just watching them fight for a little while, he figured it out.
And so what Taskmaster he really is like for real is other supervillains hire him to like teach them like how can I fight against this superhero that's always ruining my plans.
Yeah, and he teaches the goons, right? Yeah, that's what he usually does.
And then he just like he collects his money and like he's like I got paid very well for this. I don't need to.
In every incarnation of that character, he's always been arrogant and like kind of like a pig. Like he'll make fun of the girl characters in a scene or whatever.
Got a superiority complex.
Yeah. So like for me, I'm like, how do you put the pig part in a woman? Like how do you make her sound like a misogynistic pig? You know what I mean? Like that's part of his character.
Well, she didn't even talk.
Exactly. Yeah. It's actually pretty easy to make a woman sound like a misogynistic pig.
I haven't seen it yet.
I've seen women interact. Women can be more misogynistic than men.
I haven't seen it. But anyway, my point is
women have a way of like
you're taking
like insulting each other and like talking to each other.
That's catty. I'm talking about like some fucking guy like there was one instance where he was making fun of, I think it was I want to say Spider-Woman, and he was making fun of her for being an imitation of Spider-Man or whatever. Then obviously he gets his ass kicked. But still, it's like that dynamic where he's like talking all this good shit.
I mean, a woman can do that too. Oh, I mean, look
I'm
at
the
Republican Party and tell me women can't be misogynistic.
All right. Well, I guess I'm wrong, but I don't see the reason to change it. I don't see
how many women on the right are like women should know their place and where they're supposed to be.
It doesn't hit the same, bro.
No, if anything, I would think it hits worse because you'd be like, as a woman, you'd be like, wait, shouldn't you have my back?
No,
no.
I think it sounds worse when a dude is talking down just because you're a fucking chick. To me, but whatever. That was like one thing that I was just like, wait, they're gonna make him a girl, and now you're telling me he doesn't even talk, so he doesn't have that arrogant bullshit that his character is known for.
Character doesn't even speak.
I'm like, oh, okay, so then why make him a girl?
Well, my understanding is that actually turned out to be like a last minute change. There's some pictures around the internet of like some blonde haired guy in the Taskmaster suit.
I don't think I've ever seen his face. Does he ever show his face? I don't even know.
Taskmaster in the comics?
Yeah, I've never
I'm sure
seen his
he's
face.
been unmasked at one point or another, like probably even when he was first introduced.
I never saw it.
But otherwise, that mask is so cool that like they never take it off of him.
Yeah, it's a skull with a fucking hoodie, and I saw in this one it's just a helmet. It doesn't even look like a skull.
I mean, it's got like kind of like the perception of being a skull, but it doesn't look right. You know,
Whatever. Swing and a miss again, but whatever.
But I liked like the introduction of like this red room that exists, and this guy's been just collecting like girls from all over the world. Like that makes sense to me. Like it's not just girls out of the Soviet Union that he was collecting. It's like oh no, he's been getting women from all over the world, like wherever they're like women that have been discarded, like and nobody gives a shit about. He just comes in, takes them, and he does what he wants because nobody cares. That to me was like, okay, I've got no problem with the red room being global. You know, I think they hint at it that we know Natasha was Russian because she speaks Russian in the movie as a child, but I think they kind of insist that. Yeah, but I think they kind of like hint at that Yelena was not like Yelena was maybe like an American orphan girl that they found and brought in.
Definitely Cuban.
Because they hint at the fact that like they had been undercover in America for a few years, and I think Yelena at that time is like 7 years old or something like that.
Let me guess, they found her in Miami.
I don't know.
Yeah, definitely Cuban.
Just because her name starts with a Y, she's got.
Yeah. Yelena.
Yelena.
Oh, yeah. That's a Cuban girl, right?
Yelena Slacy's that's her name.
But Yelena, I liked Florence Pugh's performance. I like the concept of the red room and that it's a global thing that this guy controls, and that his kind of thing is like I just want to have like power. I don't give a shit about nations. I just want to have power. Like that stuff is like I'm okay with that stuff. I know it's like typical supervillain stuff, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah, you're watching a fucking superhero
Yeah, it's a superhero movie. I expect the villain's premise to be kind of cartoony.
It's okay if you're trying to turn the whole world into lizards. I get it.
Yeah.
You ever watched a movie called Midsummer?
I've heard of it, but I haven't. I don't watch TV. 0%.
It's a movie. It was the blonde was in that movie. That's all I could think about, and that movie was so screwed up. It was like horror gore. It was mostly gore, really, but oh god, I wish you guys would have seen it so you could revel in my pain right now. But like, it wasn't that it was a bad movie. It was just so
super gory.
You just don't feel good walking out of that movie.
Yeah. Then let me see. Are there any performances that we've left out? Rachel Weisz, I liked her as I liked her character. You know, I like the little twist that we get where like you think she's betrayed them, but she didn't. You know, and all of that, and just the little things. I love again David Harbour. I love the whole like he's got this whole thing where he's so proud of being the Red Guardian, but at the same time he's like so pissed off at like how they wasted him and all that. And then they locked him up and shit. And I love I gotta say that the actors give some very good performances. That I enjoyed. It's hard for me to be mad at them.
Oh, the freaking the guy that hooks up Black Widow with all the stuff.
His like 5 minutes of screen time was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
His contact that keeps on giving him the thing. But I mean, obviously there are little things here and there that would have made the movie better. But overall, a better movie than Captain Marvel.
That's come on, man. That's a low hanging fruit, bro. That's shit.
I mean,
that shit was.
But what else am I going to compare it to?
If you just simply don't have a fucking important climactic fight scene with "I'm just a girl" playing, you won. You beat that movie. It's as simple as that. You don't have to do much, man.
Yeah, I like. But put it to you this way: Um, on the rating scale of when this comes available on like USA Network or whatever, and it's just randomly playing in the middle of the day, I'll stop and watch.
What? Black
Like
Widow?
that's how I'll judge a movie. Like if I'm flipping through channels and I come across a movie, do I stop and watch or do I just keep on flipping through channels?
Bro, you're the only one who flips through channels, bro. I don't know a
Hey man,
single person who
I'm old
does
school.
that. I'm old school like that.
I'm old school like
Yeah,
that.
I'll watch all this shit
When it becomes available on Disney Plus and you don't have to pay anything
bro,
additional
even
for it.
Loki, I have zero. I had COVID like 2 weeks ago. Even when I was stuck at home, I didn't fucking watch that shit. I didn't care to watch that.
You had the Rona?
Bro, Rona is a fucking playground, bro. It's nothing. It was just a cold. So I was at home for 2 days, and I still didn't watch that shit. I saw it on Disney whatever, and then my friend was talking about Castlevania. I was like, you know what? That sounds like a good time.
That's a
But
good show.
Castlevania's been out for a while now.
Yeah, but I didn't see it.
Well,
I told you
third
already. Your
season
boy
came
doesn't
out
watch that
this
shit.
year.
Did you like finish it or did you like watch the whole thing because you hadn't seen any of it?
I haven't. I only saw the first 2 seasons. So the
Okay.
last two I just finished, and
Okay.
my goodness, is it good?
It was good. I thoroughly
really
enjoyed
good.
it.
Alucard is such a badass. I fucking love that character.
But now that you brought it up, let's get into Loki talk.
Oh, you guys didn't talk about this shit yet? All right,
No, we were. I mean, it's kind of the big things. We were kind of leaving it for the end.
let's do it.
Okay, so shorter series than the other ones. It was only 6 episodes.
Didn't they say they split it up into 2 because of Rona?
No, the next season's the next season.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Is it true they had? I just saw
it-
memes. Is it true there was a fucking alligator?
There was an
version?
alligator Loki.
Bro, why? This is so.
So
I
the
mean, I'm
whole-
pretty sure it makes a little bit more sense to people who saw it. But
Okay,
when I saw the
so-
memes, I'm like, why? What is this, bro? People
Okay,
are
so
losing. See?
So
Okay.
the show starts off right after Loki has picked up the
Tesseract.
stone and the Tesseract and has transported himself somewhere else. Immediately when he does this, the TVA shows up and arrest him and take him and remove him from reality. TVA, the Time Variance Authority, essentially they're time cops. Which, my God, I love Owen Wilson, but how badass would it have been if they've gotten Jean-Claude Van Damme
Oh man,
to be a TVA?
it's not too late. We know
Wow.
we're going to see the TVA.
We should get him for
Wow.
season 2 with a
Yeah,
TVA. I'm a time cop.
that's it.
I'm putting it out into the world. Hopefully, someone will make it happen. So basically, the TVA has brought him in. He's what's called a variant. He is something that exists in the timeline that should not exist in the timeline. And so they bring him in. They kind of fill him in on everything that was supposed to happen in the timeline. So even though he's not the Loki that went through everything, he knows everything that happened in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because they showed it to him. And the reason why Owen Wilson's character is so interested in him is because there is another variant that has been running afoul of them and like killing agents and stuff like that, who happens to also be a Loki. Only this Loki is a female Loki.
Oh, is that like his love interest throughout the whole thing?
Yeah, which how narcissistic is Loki that like he finally falls in love with someone and it's the female version of himself.
Oh man, that character is so fucking lame to me. That's why I didn't care to watch it. But I saw her, and the only moment that I was like, I kind of want to see this shit is when I saw classic Loki costume.
Okay,
I was like, that is cool. I like that they
So-
brought that guy in.
she is kind of a mix of Loki and Enchantress. Like in her timeline, she just happened to be female, and you know that was the thing that was, and I think she explains that basically her being a female is what caused the variance. So like they tried to get rid of her like when she was a kid, but you know even as a kid she's still Loki and she was able to escape and all of that.
That doesn't make sense because like she was a female for years at that point, you know. And you know, as Guardians age different.
Damn, look at that bicep, guys. Fuck.
Oh, this thing.
Oh,
Oh, okay, papi
that's
chulo.
them climbing muscles.
Damn.
That's it.
Well, but it might have been one of those things where like maybe there was more than one child, and like in all the other realities, Odin takes the son, but in this reality, Odin takes the daughter, creating a variance. I don't really know the full, like because they don't give you the
They didn't
full story.
explain it.
She
Yeah.
explains it kind of, and she just said like one day they showed up for her and they took them all out.
Well,
All right. Go ahead.
They asked in the elevator with that one timekeeper, like, oh, why did you take me out of the timeline? What was my variant or whatever? And she's like, oh, I don't remember.
So
they
what
never
is this
got
show about? Is it just memes? It's just like, oh, look how many fucking.
It's a meme generator.
It's a meme
No.
generator.
No, in fact, the end of this series, or at least the season,
Let's get to that because that's the
Just
real.
tell
meat
me.
and
I don't
potatoes.
care. I'm not gonna watch this shit.
Well, we're about to get to it.
All right, so that's the real meat and potatoes of this thing.
But what you didn't say anything. Look,
so-
you're speaking to someone who has no idea what the shit. I have no idea what the show's
Right,
about.
but that's I was trying to fill you in on things. So they get through this whole thing. He finds a way to help track her. He figures out how she's staying hidden. That leads to them meeting. That leads to them kind of getting stuck together. Then they find out that like, oh, the TVA are the real bad people. So let's take out the TVA together. Which then leads to like one thing where they wind up basically at the end of time. They wind up like at the end of the timeline.
Is that where the memes with the Thanos copter was and the frog Thor and all that shit?
Yeah, so like apparently everything that's a variance gets zapped out of the timeline and winds up on this thing where there's like a giant monster that just eats everything. It's like Lost. Giant smoke monster.
It really was a smoke monster. It was.
Yeah. And that's where like he shows up there, and that's when we get classic Loki, we get child Loki, we get black Loki, we get alligator Loki.
Hey, that's racist.
And we get Frog Thor for a second. If you
in the jar.
We get Frog Thor for a second the next episode. As they're like panning through. As they're going through like the layers of dirt. There's like a jar buried with Frog Thor inside.
He's
I
like
don't know
trying
how
to
he's
get
still
to
alive,
Mjolnir.
but yeah. We get the Thanos copter.
See, that meme was the only thing was like, I think I should watch this because there's a bunch of like cool comic book shit in it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, then everybody, I didn't watch reviews, but I was watching people talk about it, and not a single person spoke about a plot. They just spoke about what's happening in the show. Like, I'm like, what is this show about? I still don't know what it's about. Is it just him hunting himself and that's it? That's the plot?
That's pretty much it.
They're after the woman that is him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So this
it's
woman,
the classic. We need you to help us track down this person because
Catch me if you can.
You're the
Got it.
only person that can think like them.
Yeah, catch me if you can.
Yeah.
because she's been like killing or whatever.
She's been killing and like stealing their like their little like portal
contraptions.
Things. Yeah. And they don't know what she has in store, but she wants to destroy the organization. But anyways, they wind up. So then they decide like, well, that smoke monster is like hiding something in the middle. What is it hiding? So they use their powers to like get past the smoke monster. Classic Loki uses his magic to create a giant distraction that allows them to get through. And what they find is they find the one at the end of it all.
I have a super soft spot for like classic, corny as fuck comic book shit. Like that costume is stupid as fuck, but damn, did I love it.
Dude, you would have loved the scene with him at the end. You would have loved it.
Probably, because
he will eventually when he gets around to it.
Yeah, well, I'll eventually watch it. But
the music was over the top too. It was almost like a dun 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 dun.
Yeah, super comic booky. I like that shit.
Yeah,
that was like that him. And then when I saw the Thanos copter, I'm like, wait, we got comic book shit happening in here.
Yeah,
I'm kind of interested, but not enough to watch it, even with Ron.
So
I'm gonna watch that Castlevania, baby.
Yeah. So we get to the end of the whole thing, and we're introduced to this guy who's called the One at the End. of it all, or something like that. Who is in reality is a variant of Kang.
Oh, it's not. It's not actually
It's
Kang.
not
It's a.
actual Kang. Actual
Hold on.
Kang is
I'm gonna
Well,
throw out.
coming
it's
now.
a
I'm
king.
I'm going to throw out a prediction, and it probably showed this at the end. The main bad guy for the next universe, whatever they're trying to build, is probably going to be the original King. Is that what they're
It's
alluding
probably
to?
going to be Kang. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it. With all the memes online, I'm like, oh, so they have Kang, so they're just going to do
This is
Thanos
their way of
again.
introducing Kang. Yeah.
Well,
So
they were talking about him like he was more like Immortus meets, because they mentioned him as He Who Remains, which is a
Yeah.
character.
Isn't he? Like written wise? Isn't he very similar to what Thanos is?
I think he's just at the end of it. He's just the guy who created the TVA.
No, I mean I'm not talking about the show. I'm talking about the comics. Isn't Thang just like
Kang.
Kang? My bad.
Kang is like a time traveler who just happens to use like his knowledge of the future to like do things in the past.
But isn't he like the same powers as Thanos, where he controls time and fucking all this fucking
It's
shit
such a long
without?
time since I've read a Kang
I
comic.
thought because I remember he was in a Fantastic Four with Doom, and I think
mean,
Doom
he's always
fought
been
it.
like one of the Avengers' big villains.
Yeah, so I assumed he was like Thanos, which would be the same thing. Again.
Well, so the storyline is that this guy discovers like the timeline, and then he discovers other realities, and then eventually like they start discovering each other, and they start talking to each other, and he's like Reed Richards.
Yeah.
And then like eventually they start going to war with each other. And so this guy decided, you know what? We can't have all these timelines. So he creates the TVA. The choice that they have is like, do they kill him or do they let him live? And he's like, at this point, he's like, I really don't give a shit. Like, if you kill me, I'll just be back in another form. And if you let me live, then I don't know. Like I don't know what will happen. I'll just continue existing or whatever. Like he doesn't really like. He's apathetic at that point. Like he's a nihilist at that point. And Loki is like he's telling us the truth. We shouldn't kill him. And Sylvie's like no, he's caused me all this pain, and I have to kill him. And
Sylvie? Who's Sylvie?
Yeah, that's
the girl Loki.
Why isn't her name just Loki? Isn't it just whatever? I'm not going to get into it.
I think they wanted to give a little bit of a.
Oh, whatever. I won't get into it. That's fine. Okay, Sylvie.
She doesn't like going by Loki.
Which, by the way, in this reality, she's Loki Luffy daughter instead of Luffy son.
Luffy son, yeah.
Yeah. And so she ends up killing him, but before she does, she pushes him through a portal back to the TVA. But when he shows up in the TVA, they don't recognize him. They don't know who he is. They're like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? Like what? And then he looks, and there's a giant statue of Kang the Conqueror in the middle of the TVA.
But hold on, because he didn't watch it. You're missing a couple things. So the whole choice of killing him or not, that was Loki and Sylvie, and then Sylvie ends up killing him. But as soon as that happens, the
timelines start to like just multiply.
They branch out. So now the multiverse is born, basically. Yeah. So that's why I said it has implications for everything now, because now WandaVision makes more sense because she's hearing her kids probably from a different multiverse, and then we have Multiverse of Madness coming out. We have Spider-Man.
The end of Spider-Man Homecoming, where not Homecoming, Far From Home, where all of a sudden, oh hey, it's J. Jonah Jameson, and he's being played by the same actor from the other movies.
Maybe. Or maybe they just wanted to do a callback. Well, you're never going to get a better fucking...
Gus, that's a good question.
Richards.
I don't know.
Nathaniel Richards is what his name is, what you're referring to. From like... Didn't he say he was from the 31st century?
I don't want Kang. I don't want Kang as the main bad guy. Just make it Doom, guys. I don't know why they
Well,
can't just make it
because I
Doom.
don't think you can introduce Doom without the Fantastic Four.
No, you don't. Just make a Fantastic Four movie and then make Doom the main bad guy for the next fucking whole 10 years of whatever they're gonna do.
Doom is the
You-
bad guy for Phase like 8,
No, he should be next because Doom is
and
just
then it'll
too
be
fucking
Magneto after that.
good.
No.
Or, yeah, just do Magneto. Fuck that.
It won't be
Magneto's-
Magneto.
Yeah,
No way.
Magneto's not that crazy. It's like Apocalypse would
I-
be the X-Men.
I have
equivalent.
nothing
Right.
against Kang being a big bad if it's for the next Avengers movie. But don't give me the whole thing like you did with Thanos, where we had like 10 years leading
that's
up
prob-
to the end.
That's
of
probably
Thanos.
what they're gonna do, unless
Yeah.
they make him like a servant of like Galactus or some crazy shit. Like
I mean,
No.
Kang as a villain is nowhere near the level of Thanos as a villain. There's no Kang storyline that's on the level of the Infinity War.
Well, the way that they're making it, it seems like that's what it is.
That's what
this
it
guy
se-
was so powerful. He was able to control all of reality.
But I'm all for like, let's get another Avengers movie to introduce the team, like the new version of the team, whatever that is, and then let's take out Kang and be done with it. And then from there we can let's have the Fantastic Four. Let's introduce Doom. Let's have X-Men. Let's start introducing mutants.
and then let's forget about all the other Marvel IPs because they're all trash compared to X-Men.
And then let's start to like get into like some of the really big crossover stories that have happened. Obviously, Doctor Doom is he's a major bad, but Doctor Doom's always just been like, I must get Reed Richards. Like that's his motivation.
No, that was his original shit. After like in the last 20 years, he hasn't been nothing about that. He's been about I am the greatest thing that's ever been placed on this earth, and I will conquer this. That's what he's become. Like Reed Richards is just a side note now for him. Wasn't he the one who created the multiverse in the comic book?
Oh, multiverse has always been in existence.
No. The one that we have where we have like
the current one.
Yeah, the Chinese or not the Chinese. I shouldn't say that. The Asian Hulk, the fucking the many very old man Logan, old man Quill. All of those characters were created because for Doom, I don't remember exactly how this works, but it was like Doom had to save the universe because all the timelines were clashing into each other. So we had that's why we have the Spider-Verse is because of Doom. And Doom, instead of destroying any of them, he just merged all of them. That's why we have a billion different Peter Parkers now and a billion different Spider-Man. It's all because of Doom. And he was like the main guy about it. And he was originally the bad guy for it, but in the end, he's the one who saved everybody. He is the best. He is the greatest villain. That's it. And that's what they should just make. They should just make him.
I don't know. I like classic Doom of curse you, Richards, and diplomatic immunity.
Oh, obviously, you know me. I like comic book bullshit too, but it's way better written now.
That was always my favorite thing about Doctor Doom was like whenever like any of the Avengers or anyone like try to like get him on something, he was like, I am a ruler of another country. I have diplomatic immunity in this,
He was.
You cannot,
I don't know. I would like to see a Doom main bad guy focus, where he he tiptoes the line between good and bad because he's bad, but he's still human. I guess.
I want to know like in this MCU how people start reacting to mutants.
I cannot wait for that.
Because, like, I mean, right now, yeah, first of all, there's a ton of superheroes already existing in this universe.
Straight up, I tapped out on all this shit because they didn't give it to us in WandaVision. That shit bothered me so much that they set it up so nicely and they just didn't do anything with it. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. Until something says X-Men on it, I don't fucking care.
The thing is, I don't know what their plans are, and
they could
maybe
if they all they had to do was make Quicksilver actual Quicksilver. That's all they had to do. That's literally all they had to do. And
it's not too late. They could still do it.
And I would be all in. Yeah, but they confirmed that it wasn't true. And if they do it now, it's just called quality control. But fucking that's all they had to do. And then I would be all in because now the future is like, oh shit, maybe Wanda created the fucking X-Men by doing the whole fucking shit. That is so much cooler to me. then whatever the fuck they're probably going to come up with.
Something Wanda did unlocks the X gene and
Because she herself
in
is an
humanity.
X-Men. You know what I mean? She herself is a mutant, and it'd be so poetic for her to be the mother of all mutants. You know what I mean? She accidentally created it, but no, they didn't do it.
Or what if it's just like if it would have been a byproduct of the snap? Like
That's
the
fine
snap
too.
like the snap restores half of like everyone that got snapped away, but also like somehow activates the dormant X gene in people.
But see,
Well,
that's
'cause
less
they-
poetic, isn't it? I think if she snapped and she fucked up reality so much that she created a whole new gene in people's the way she created that fucking black the black woman
Monica Rambeau.
Rambo.
Yeah, but that
she
was
created her essentially.
Well, okay, so it could have been a mix of both. It could remember when Rocket says we haven't seen this much radiation, cosmic radiation, come out in whatever with the
Mhm.
snap, and then we found it in another planet, and that's how they found Thanos. So that happened on Earth twice. Then on top of that, you have the stuff going on with Wanda. So maybe Wanda would have been the thing that just pushed it over the edge and caused the mutant.
See, that's where I'm at. That's what I wanted to see.
I like Gus's theory here. I think it works, but I think it takes away the thunder that you were talking about right now.
If anybody creates mutants, it's Sinister. That's it. You can't create
Didn't they mention him? Oh no, that was in the New Mutants movie.
new mutants.
Nathaniel
yeah.
Essex.
Which was a fucking awesome Easter egg.
I like that. I heard
I
Dr.
thought it
Doom's
was
actually a
awesome,
nurse
too.
practitioner.
And what is it? Essex Corporation or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there's anybody who creates mutants, it's Sinister. And if you give it to anybody else, I will fucking riot. I'm gonna get mad. It's only Sinister.
I mean, technically Namor's a mutant, isn't he?
Technically, he's one of the first. Yeah.
And supposedly he's gonna be in the Fantastic Four movie.
Well, he's in Black Panther, isn't he?
He's in Black.
Is it Black Panther 2? Is that what it is?
He's the main bad guy or supposedly.
Yeah. Technically, isn't like the first mutant Apocalypse?
Yeah, but like the first, not Apocalypse. The first, I don't know. He's like considered a god, but he's a mutant. He's like one of the first ones to exist. He's on the level of Apocalypse, but obviously Apocalypse is the one that started everything.
I know Mr. Sinister, like his origin dates back to like the Middle Ages.
But see, Sinister isn't originally a mutant. He turned himself into.
He was experimenting on all these.
Yeah,
things.
he was human. He was just a human doctor, and then he experimented on so much.
But
shit,
isn't he from like the 1400s or something?
Yeah. He's ancient too, but he wasn't originally a mutant. I'm talking about original mutant. It was I think it was Apocalypse, Namor, and there was like two others.
What if we get the creation of mutants as a result of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? Supposedly,
Dude, honestly,
honestly,
they're going to do it. So speculation on how they do it, that's fine. But the problem for me has been that we got a show that had the greatest setup possible,
and they
for
didn't do
this
it.
explanation, and they didn't do it. They had the greatest,
and they did it with Monica, like you said. They already did.
They did it with Monica. They could have just done it with every fucking person on Earth. You know what I mean? But they didn't do it. They fucking dropped. For me, they dropped the ball. When we were talking about it, I was more hyped about the fucking. Yeah, I think Namor is one of the first ones. Look it up. I'm pretty sure.
I think that reference went over your head.
What did he say?
Isn't Neymar a soccer player?
Oh, Neymar instead of Namor. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, the hype for majority of WandaVision. We reviewed it.
I know.
Majority of the hype was us speculating on how they're going to turn mutant kind into a thing.
And where's Mephisto?
And where's Mephisto? And that none of it happened. So is that show even that good? Not really. It was just like we were just so hyped about the shit that could have possibly been done, and they were setting it up so nicely for all of it to work. The fucking what is it? What space physics? Whatever that scientist that they were going to call in to help out. We all thought it was Reed Richards. And they didn't do that either.
Yeah.
I'm like, man,
the something engineer.
Engineer.
I was with our buddy John had an idea, and I agreed with him. I didn't think it was going to be Reed Richards because I didn't think they would introduce Reed Richards in WandaVision. I thought it might be Adam Brashear, the Blue Marvel.
Could have been the Blue Marvel, because then that would make sense. Because Monica's going to be in the Marvel movie.
Yeah. Which, for those of you that have not read it, I highly recommend Legend of the Blue Marvel. I don't know anything of the stuff that came out with Blue Marvel after that, but the original miniseries, Legend of the Blue Marvel, was a really fucking good miniseries. All about like this black superhero in the 50s, and then like he has a huge fight with his like arch villain nemesis, in which like it gets revealed that he's actually a black guy underneath the mask, and the president asks him to lay low and not continue his superhero exploits because the world is not ready for a black superhero.
Racist.
Yeah.
Except we have Spawn and Blade out there just wrecking ass.
But that was in the 90s.
Wrecking ass.
But that was in the 90s. That wasn't in the 50s.
Yeah. I don't care. Well, whatever. No matter what they do, it's not going to be as hype as our speculation for WandaVision. It's just a drop the ball. It's never going to be as hype as what.
To the point where we didn't know speculating on Winter Soldier, and we didn't talk about Loki till it ended.
Yeah, because fuck it, it ruined the whole show for us. Or at least for me, it ruined Marvel for me. That's why I don't care to see Loki or anything like that.
Well, you were never high on the Marvel high horse anyway.
Yeah, but I still watched it. I've never missed anything. But now I'm just like, I don't care. I get too hyped up about the shit that I'm coming up with in my head, and then the writers just say, fuck you, she just wants power. All right, cool. I guess that's the main villain.
All right. Well, guys, it's about that time. So let's wrap things up. If you watched all the way through the end, thank you for watching all the way through the end. Is there anything coming out in the next few weeks?
What if in August? That's it.
What if in August? So it may be about another month or so, unless something happens that before you guys hear from us again. We are slowly marching to issue 100. Live long and prosper to yourself as well, Gustavo. Maybe one day we'll get you back on the show. But we are slowly making that march to 100. As things start to pick up, as things start to come out, we will pick up with our shows with more regularity. Pedro, I talked about it at the beginning of the show. Do you have any interest in Masters of the Universe?
No. No. Bro, I'm sorry, man. I'm like the worst nerd now, but not really. Actually, I'm reading a bunch of new comic books that are fucking fantastic. Crossover is amazing. Shadecraft is sick as fuck. The Many Lives of Layla Starr is fucking phenomenal. All these fucking indie comics are killing it right now. But you motherfuckers don't know nothing about that.
No, I don't. I haven't stepped inside a comic book in a few years.
I've read a few indie comics somewhat recently, like a year ago. But.
Did you read House and Powers of X? I know you bought it. You son of a bitch.
I have it right here. Hold on. I have it right here. Right here.
Yeah, I know. There it is.
It's still in the wrapper.
It's still in the wrapper, you son of a bitch.
Here's the first thing.
Oh shit, we're getting an unboxing right now?
Right, yeah.
Unboxing. Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm here today to unbox this, blah blah blah.
Oh shit.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Bro, you gotta read it, man. That's a really good book.
That. Don't forget, if you like the show, if you want more of it, look. One of the reasons we haven't been doing the show more often is because you guys haven't been clamoring for us to do the show more often. But if you guys start telling us you want more episodes, we'll
wait. Careful! Episodes. Don't do that.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
I've been extra social is the thing. So after I got vaccinated, I'm like going out and meeting people.
What? You don't take a shit? Come on, man.
I play chess.
I can't sit on the toilet long enough to read that whole book.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
not the whole book.
Oh, no.
Read a fucking chapter. Fucking,
No,
what are
no,
you
no,
crazy?
no.
Sitting down for like an hour? Come on now.
No, I sit down I'm quick. Gotta get out of there.
Oh,
you know?
well, I guess you'll never fucking read the book. That's when I read my comics. I read it taking a dump. That's when I
One
read.
game of speed chess is all I have time for. Toilet.
Well, try to incorporate
All
reading
right.
that shit. I
Well, folks,
guarantee you're gonna like it.
Thank you for sticking around, and we'll see you next time on We Ain't Found Sid.